Good morning. So today I'm going to discuss about what is matter. Okay, so what is matter? Matter is anything which occupies space and has some mass, that is matter. And matter is all about any solid substance, any liquid, gases. We will discuss it in detail. So first of all, matter can also be classified into two parts, that is macro form and micro form. So matter can be in macro form. Macro means which we can see with our naked eyes, and micro is which we cannot see with our naked eyes. So macro matter, for example, you can see chair and it has some mass and has some and occupies some space in the room. So that is we can say it is a matter. And micro means, for example, electron, proton, neutron, which we cannot see with our eyes, but it has some mass and occupies obviously some space. So it comes under the category of micro matter. So next is very important, that is the classification of matter. So we can classify the matter in two parts. Number one is physical classification, number two is chemical classification. So let's start our topic with physical classification. So physical classification, we know from as you know that it is of three types. It is of three types, that is solid, liquid and gases. So first of all, what is solid? Solid is that thing in which it is a hard thing. It can be little bit soft also, like some metals are very soft. So solids in which the atoms and molecules are tightly bonded with each other, and they have definite shape and definite volume. For example, your log of wood. If you are taking log of wood, it has some definite volume and definite shape. So it is an example of solid. Or you can take any metal. For example, I am talking about ring. So ring is also, it is formed of metal in which the atoms and molecules are tightly bonded, and it has definite shape and definite volume. Next is in physical classification is liquid. In liquid, the molecules and atoms are little bit apart from each other. Okay, there are spaces, there are intermolecular spaces present between the atoms and molecules, and it has no definite shape and no definite volume. And last is gases. In gases, the atoms and molecules are very far apart from each other, and it has no definite shape and no definite volume. Okay, so that is all about gases. So our next state of matter we will discuss is plasma. In plasma, the gaseous ions are at very high temperature. Okay, and first of all, you should know that at very high temperature, what will happen? If you are giving very high temperature, obviously it will lose or gain electron. It will convert into cation or anion. So at very high temperature, first of all, the atom will convert into gaseous form, and after that, after converting into gaseous form, it will convert into ions, and these ions are known as plasma. They form a fourth state of matter, that is plasma. Next is Bose-Einstein condensate. It is formed at very low temperature. At very low temperature, what will happen? The gaseous molecule will come together at low temperature. They will condense, they will come together and form a single entity, and that single entity comes under Bose-Einstein condensate. And last is Fermi. Fermi contains condensate of gaseous molecules at very high temperature. So it is a very high temperature in which condensate is formed. So that is all about the classification of matter. I hope you understood well. Thank you very much. Good morning to all of you. So next our topic is chemical classification of matter. So matter, we know, we have studied that whatever which occupies space and has some volume is a matter, and it has some mass also. So we already discussed it in previous videos. So next is chemical classification. So matter is further divided into mixture and pure. Okay. So what is the difference between mixture and pure? For example, if we are taking sand plus water, कुछ और भी डाल दो इसमें, plus leaves, ठीक है, कुछ भी डाल दो. जब when you mix more than one things, then it is called mixture. And pure means which is present in elemental form. For example, gold, silver, copper, Okay, so if I am taking only the atoms of these metals, then it is in the pure form. For example, we are taking distilled water. Distilled water, that is also pure form. You know what is distilled water? Which only contains H2O and no minerals. So distilled water is the purest form of the water which we cannot utilize in a daily basis, because we need mineral water only for our good health and for our other works also. Now next we will start with mixture. Is further classified into two types, that is, number one is heterogeneous mixture and number two is homogeneous mixture. First we will start with heterogeneous mixture. Heterogeneous mixture is the mixture of two different phases, which we can distinguish by boundaries, For example, if I'll take sand in water, after some time sand will settle down at the bottom of the beaker, and we can differentiate it by some boundary, that above this boundary is water and below this boundary is sand. So this is the heterogeneous mixture, where we can distinguish between two phases. Now next is homogeneous mixture. Homogeneous mixture means here we cannot distinguish between two phases. For example, I am taking chloroform plus benzene. These both are in liquid phase. And they can easily mix and gel up easily with each other, as they both are organic compounds. So they can easily mix with each other, and therefore they will form a homogeneous mixture. So these are the example of homogeneous mixture. Next we will further classify pure matter into elements and compounds. First we will discuss about elements. Okay, so elements is further divided into metals, non-metals and metalloids. So first of all we will talk about what is metal. Okay, so metal, we know, we have studied in periodic properties, metals are monoatomic, always monoatomic. For example, any metal, gold, it is never Au2 or Au3, sodium, Na2, Na3, never. They are always monoatomic in nature, like Na, Au, Ag. They are lustrous. Maximum metals are lustrous. They are ductile. They are malleable. Some metals are soft. Some metals are hard. We have learned tremendous properties of metals in periodic property, as maximum periodic table is covered with metals only. Okay. So elements contains metals. Next is non-metals. In non-metals we can take like oxygen, nitrogen. So non-metals are diatomic, triatomic, but they are never monoatomic. And the properties of non-metals are, they are maximum in gaseous form, few are in liquid and rarely are in solid form. So the non-metals generally exist in gaseous or liquid form, not even solid form also. For example, if we take gaseous example, O2, O3, N2. Liquid case we can take example liquid bromine, mercury is a metal, liquid bromine. And in solid there is one iodine is present in the form of solid only, that is iodine. So these are the classification of non-metals. Next is what is metalloids. Metalloids is a in between property having metals plus non-metals. For example, if I am taking antimony and bismuth, these are metalloids, as they have intermediate or intermittent properties of metals and non-metals. Okay, sometimes they behave like metals, sometimes they behave like non-metals. So these are metalloids. Okay. Next, pure substance. After classifying elements, we will classify about compounds. So elements के बाद compounds में आएंगे, but first of all elements are made up of same kind of atoms. We have seen they are made up of same kind of atoms. Like in metals, if there is if we are taking the sodium bar, only sodium is going to present. If we are taking bromine liquid maybe only bromine liquid particle will be there. So not bromine liquid. If we are taking mercury metal, in mercury also there will be mercury atom will be present. And if we are taking in non-metals bromine liquid, then only bromine will be present in the whole beaker. Okay, so only same kind of atoms. But if we are taking compounds, then in compounds we can see compound can contain more than 2 atoms. For example, water is a compound, Na2SO4 is a compound. Here more than 2 atoms are combined with each other, like sodium is there, sulfur is there, oxygen is there. So there are more than 2 kind of atoms are present. Now next is compound is further classified into organic and inorganic. In case of organic compounds, we know hydrocarbons comes under organic compounds. For example, C6H12O6 that is glucose comes under organic compound, and inorganic compounds are all metals, non-metals and metalloids comes under inorganic compounds.